Well, hello, 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 everybody. Hello, happy stamping people. This is Caron, your independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. I am your ATX stamping lady. And you guys, we are here tonight for a Case the Caddy Stampin' on the Fly event. Kind of what I call them, Stampin' on the Fly. Because what we do is we create from the catalog. The artisan team and the designers at Stampin' Up are very good at creating projects. And I love to take the opportunity to share with you how my interpretation of how they put together their projects and how I make them work. So, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Let me thank you all. I am totally honored that you are taking a moment out of your day, an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, to come craft in the craft room with Caron. Like I said, today we are working with and I'll share that part with you in a little bit. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning to my channel, thank you so much for returning. And for everybody that is joining me tonight, you guys, please take a moment to like my videos, share my videos, and if you are not a current subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. I know you have so many crafters out there that you can subscribe to, but I would love to be one that you have on your favorites and that you click that notification bell and to be notified every time that I go live to present you some crafting fun. Anyway, enough of that. Let's see what we got here. Let's grab, we are working, oh, by the way, you guys, we are the 2nd of November. This catalog went live yesterday, which is why I'm choosing to feature one of the products from the catalog. If you were in my Facebook group and you saw, we are working with, in page 51 of the current catalog, of the new current catalog, because it's new as of yesterday. And I am going to, it's on page 49, you'll see where the Sweets collection is. And it's called the Country Woods Sweet Collection is the name of the entire collection. It is a 2-bundle suite. And that bundle, it includes the Country Birdhouse, and it includes the Country Flowers bundle. Okay? Now the bundle we are working with for tonight's project is the Country Birdhouse. The Sweet collection also includes these awesome looking gems. These gems are called, what are they called? Smoky Slate Pearls. They're 160 pieces. It comes with an eyelet 3D embossing folder. Comes with petal pink and white 1/4-inch trim diagonal ribbon. Excuse me. And it comes with 2 different designer series paper packs. Not sure if we're going to use a designer series paper or not tonight, but let's just have a go and let's see what we're going to work on tonight. So the projects I think we're going to work on tonight is we're going to work with this one right here. And so this one is a lot of coloring. Very simple card, so we're probably going to spend a lot of time coloring to create this project, okay? And then I'm going to create a card not from the catalog. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? So the Country Birdhouse, let me show you to you what it looks like. Okay. It is a photopolymer set, has 13 stamps in it, photopolymer. And it has the coordinating dies. Okay, let's take a look at the dies. Oh, I didn't change these out yet. So here are the dies. You have the little birdhouse right here, the basic birdhouse, and then you can add so many different layers to the roof of the birdhouse. You have like the little planter here that you can add a little accent to the birdhouse. You can also use this, you guys, if you have a sentiment, you can use it to die cut your sentiment as well. Then you have some floral accents that you can use. I'm thinking this guy right here is the stand for your birdhouse if you're going to make it stand up. And that's what the dies look like. This is 23 different dies. Oh, there's one for a little bird to cut out the bird. We're going to cut out the bird. We're going to be able to cut out this floral image. We're going to be able to cut out this floral image. We're going to be able to cut this floral image. And then everything else is accents in the die collection. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me put this away. I've already put the birdhouse on the block. Let me tell you about this stamp though. Okay. It's one of those stamps, if you look at it, it's not a solid piece of photopolymer. What I mean by that is that just to avoid getting ink into these little crevices, this is all hollow in here. So it's kind of like an outline-ish kind of a stamp. Hi Sandy, how are you? So the first thing I'm going to do is I cut a piece of cardstock, and this cardstock was, I think I left it at a 1/4 panel because my intent was to trim it down. So I left it at a 1/4 panel. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to stamp the birdhouse in black ink. And of course, because I like to add sparkle to almost everything, I'm going to stamp in Versamark, heat emboss, and then color. Oops. See, that's why I stamp too hard sometimes. That's why they keep it hollow. For people like me who like to make messes. Now I'm not too concerned about placement on the panel because I'm going to actually trim it down. If you'll notice in the catalog, it's cut very close and very tight. Ooh, almost dropped the block. All right. And I think that's all crooked. But y'all know me. Oh, you can't hear me? Oh boy. What's going on? You know, I don't mess with any of these settings. Can you hear me now? I don't mess with any of these settings between lives, and somehow or the other I can never ever get it to be right. Can you hear me now? If you can hear me, let me know. I'm looking at you, Sandra, for cues as to how you can hear me, okay? All right. Oh, yeah. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to grab another piece, actually. Is it too loud? Is it, what are you hearing? You can hear me better now. Great. Ooh, love it. I never mess with these settings because from time to time you guys tell me everything is fine and I don't mess with it, and then I come back again and it's all messed up and I'm like, what happened? No clue. Alright, so I'm going to start again, and yes, there was the other side, but I did not want to utilize that. It was a little crooked, and so I had to make sure that for me everything was fine. Okay, here we go. Let's try this one more time. That's as straight as we are gonna. But there's an echo. Oh. All right, let's try something else here. What about now? An echo still? I know. I feel like that commercial. Do you remember? Well, I don't remember the phone company. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I feel like that sometimes. Maybe I'm gonna, you can hear better, but there's an echo. I'm probably gonna end up having to have someone come in. Oh, that's white. I don't need white. I need clear. Maybe I should go to the local college and take a class on all of this type of stuff, so I can do a better job for you guys. There we go. Now when I do these VersaFine, the ink on this, it's one of those inks that take quite a bit of time to dry. Not quite a bit, but it gives you enough time that you can add the embossing powder and enough time for it to add and hold. So if I'm going to color on it with alcohol markers or anything like that, I always try to make sure I can heat set it. So I always do that and add the clear embossing powder, and then I heat set that. Everybody had a great day today. Yeah, that's it. Alright, now let me go back to that page because I want to make sure, and I didn't pull my colors earlier and I should have. So I'm looking and it looks like it's Pool Party-ish and Lost Lagoon. So I'm going to grab, maybe just work with the, let's grab Pool Party and Lost Lagoon in our Stampin' Blends. Okay. There's a lot of open space on this, so this should be a fairly quick coloring job. So I'm going to start with the dark. And really, for me coloring, now if I'm thinking about it, right, in terms of shading and highlighting, on these shutters, they won't get too much sunlight under them. So I'm trying to create a little bit of a highlight under what I'm calling the gutters on the birdhouse. Okay. And then I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow under here. Then I'm going to bring some up from the bottom. But it's mainly going to be the pool parties that's the star of the show for these colors, okay? Alright. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the light Lost Lagoon. And again, this is just going to accent a little bit more of the blending.
Make it a smooth transition into the pool party colors. Now, if you choose to recreate this project, you can use any colors that you like. You don't have to case the colors that's in the catalog. So you can make any color scheme that you wanted to do, okay? And I'm going to grab the pool party. And one of the things I try to do when I'm coloring is to make sure that I'm constantly rotating the nib. In case you didn't know, it's actually called the nib. And then I'm going to go with the rest of it with the light. And has anybody gotten their catalog yet? I can't wait to hear. What's your opinion? What are your thoughts on the new catalog? If you've got a favorite stamp set or a bundle or a product or whatever you have that's a favorite of yours that you've seen in the new catalog, post it in the comments. I'd love to know if you've got a favorite, what that favorite is, and who knows, if I have it, that just might be a featured class. Alright, so I am going to be doing classes. I have decided that I am going to go back to doing classes. Now, my classes, I used to do in-person classes, but I am finding that I love the virtual medium. Okay, what are you saying no to? Oh, you haven't gotten your catalogs? Is that what you're saying no to? And then the trim looks like a gray, smoky slate maybe. So let's find some of our gray colors. So we're going to start with our dark, and I'm using gray granite. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to accent. And then with the light, just for a little bit of contrast in the colors, or highlighting, okay? When there's areas this small, you don't actually have to do a lot of blending, but I try to do that. Okay. Then on the, looks like we're working with, I'm going to grab, let's go with this. This is our bronze and our light, our ivory. Let's work with those. These are not just for faces. You can actually color other things with them. I'm going to try to make sure I circle back and I put the colors that I used, so that if you are wanting to, whenever you do get your catalogs and you do want to give this a try, you'll have the colors that I used to create the coloring. I would have liked to, I should have probably used like a cinnamon cider, but cinnamon cider was retired so many seasons ago. It's one of my favorite colors for like woodwork and stuff like that. I probably could have used copper clay, and I think I am going to use copper clay. So for my copper clay, I'm going to use down here. Did you know there was a science to how you had a birdhouse? I mean, there's certain type of birds, the way they eat, so certain type of birdhouses work best for those types of birds. I'm like, that was too much for me. As much as I wanted to have a birdhouse, I'm like, wait, that's just way too much. Now you have to remember with these alcohol markers, they tend to dry lighter. So if they go on a little bit dark, don't be too concerned. They do tend to dry a little bit lighter. Okay. And this is just a light copper clay. Blending some of these edges off. Okay. And there we go. So we're done coloring. And then if you'll see in the, well, I'm going to design first. So now the next thing I think that was in here is it had the floral images. So let's go get these floral images stamped off on here. So we had these flowers, you can see them right here. And we're just going to stamp them on. Not going to do any masking, not going to do any of that. I'm just going to stamp them on. Enough, I think that we can line them up, especially as they're photopolymer. I think they're easy enough that we should be able to add them in there without needing to do any of the masking. First time using the stamp, so I will generally stamp to prime it, or I'll just run my fingers over it, or I do both, a combination of both, okay? Alright, so if my head gets in the shot, I apologize, but I'm kind of needing just to make sure that I line it up properly, like so. Okay, that's one. Grab the other. Get that one stamped down as well. Now again, I stamp in VersaFine, and you'll see exactly what I mean when I tell you there's just enough time to, I don't have to rush to add. Okay. So we've got this little guy coming over right here. So that's perfect. This is what I mean when I say I prime with my fingers. Just prime it. Okay. was your day, Sandra? Have you done any crafting today? Color. So my leaves are going to be green. Let's see. I'm going to go with the Shy Shamrock, and I think Shy Shamrock will work very well with Lost Lagoon. Let's take a look and see. They might work well. So I'm going to outline, I think, with the light. Like that. And this one's so tiny that we probably won't have a lot of coloring and highlighting and shading to do. Going with our Shy Sham. Oh yeah, that'll work. That'll work well. Getting excited. Tomorrow is the City Olympics here for the city of Austin. And because I work for the city, myself and a couple of our friends, I remember I told you guys that we do the slowest shell walking group. Well, we are participating in the 5K on Saturday. 5K, I think, is what is that? 3-point-something miles. He was busy working in your yard. I love yard. I used to love well, I still love gardening. I just don't think gardening loves me anymore. It just does not. I'm going in with Petunia Pop. And I'm going to Fresh Freesia as my other colors. I do like to add a little bit of highlighting and shading when I am coloring. And then I'm going to move on to, I think my other flowers I'm probably going to leave in the pinks. So I'm going to try again with Pretty in Pink. Oh, where are you from? Or where are you, Sandra? I don't know if these will go well together, but we're going to put them together anyway. So this is Pretty in Pink and Dark and Bubble Bath. Those are the colors I'm working with right now. I hear my neighbors talking about stuff, but I used to be in my garden an awful lot, and then I got injured, and my back is like a mess. So sitting for long periods of time, standing for long periods of time, which is primarily what gardening is, just presents a bit of a challenge for me. So I don't do it as much as I should or as I could. Because I enjoy it so much, and I just, sometimes when I just don't want something to take away I want to be left with the memory, I guess would be the words I'm looking for, of that I had my love of gardening. So this is Flirty Flamingo. I changed it from the bubble bath. It was just too light for me for this part, what I was doing. Blended. So Flirty Flamingo and dark Pretty and Pinks, they kind of look alike. If you're in a pinch, you could substitute one for the other. If you're in a pinch. Oh boy. Okay. So our birdhouse is done. Give me just 1 second. Let me put stuff back. I'm trying to be a better stamper in terms of putting things back when I use them. That's a little challenging for me. I don't know if that's challenging for everybody, but it is definitely challenging for me. I just don't put things back. I've gotten to the point where in my stamp room, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay. And these go on the other rack, so I'll put these away later. Alright, so this is done. Now, if I'm looking at the catalog, this is a pretty tight cut that they did. When I say pretty tight, it's pretty close. So let me just take a look one more time before I put the trimmer out. Oh, we stamped Happy Birthday in here too. See? Almost didn't finish. Alright. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I know. Don't quit my day job. I know. I used to sing a lot. I really used to sing a lot. I don't sing near as much as I used to. I love it, well, except for in my car or in the shower or something. I don't do it near as much as I used to. I used to be part of so many different choirs. I love choral singing. Here we go. Happy birthday. Straight up. Now, y'all, when I'm making a card like this, it generally does not take me quite a bit of time, this much time. And just so that you are aware, somebody, someone new to the craft is watching and they're like, wow, it's taking a long time. It does primarily because, one, I'm talking to you guys through every step of the way, and generally when I'm crafting, I'm really not doing a lot of talking. I'm generally in my craft room by myself. My dog sitting at my side. And she's not talking. She is not. Alright. So our sentiment is done. Our main is done. So let's go ahead and put this away. Where's my lid? Right here. And then to case it, I'm going to trim this down. And it seems like it's a very close cut. So I'm going to do a very close cut on here. Okay. And then I'll tell you what my final panel dimensions are. So this seems like this is going to be a 3.5. Let's see. There's not a very... Okay. Trimmed off a little bit too much at the bottom, but that's okay. So it's going to be a 3.5 by, let's go 4.5. So we went with 3.5 by 4.5. So that's what our image is. Then we have this gray background. It's gray granite, but I don't like that this is so quote unquote stark white. So I've got to add a little bit of a sky to it. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to grab my Pool Party or Balmy Blue, either one. Might do a mix of both. And all I'm going to do is make sure it's not as white. Besides, it's a birdhouse. Outdoors, right? It's in the sky somewhere. Alright? There we go. So that looks much better to me. It's not as stark with the white as it could be. So this is done. Then I'm going to just grab, let's see what's the next thing we're going to do. We distressed the edges, it seemed like. So we're going to distress these edges just a tad. And that's another way that you can add texture to your projects if you're looking to add texture. Just take the edge of your scissors. What's the yellow? On my cutter. Oh, I had a piece of tape that has that was like a ruler. Hold on, I'll share it with you. So I had some masking tape. It's in the shape of like a ruler. And so when the numbers, my eyes are going really bad. And so when I just need little assistance sometimes with making sure the numbers are bigger so that I can see. So I kind of doctored my trimmer with this, made sure the measurements lined up, and so that I could be able to see my numbers very well. You got to do what you got to do if you want to keep on in this craft, and that's kind of what I had to do. I just had to do it. I have so many little cheat things. Hey, Tamika! That I do because I need assistance with being able to see better. I have my glasses. I have readers everywhere, and it seems like my vision changes. It seems like every single day. Now I know somewhere out there are a couple of tools, Tim Holt tools that you can use. But if you don't have those types of things, you really just need a pair of scissors to kind of roughen your, distress your edges a little bit. Now, how much you distress is up to you. You can do a lot, you can do a little. And whatever floats your boat. And there we have that. That's done. Alright, so we're almost done with this card. So I went with, this was a piece of gray granite. Excuse me. And I cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. And before I put it on there, I'm going to add, there's this little accent piece that's in the stamp set that I'm going to use to create a little interest. Looks like a little wood grain right here. So this is something when you are playing a little bit more with the stamp set, what you can do with it is you can go ahead and add that wood grain texture along your trim, just to add a little bit more to your design. Okay. So what I'm just going to do here. This is only going to be used as accent pieces, right? Because you know we're going to cover it up with this. So you don't have to be too mindful of where you're putting the design, I guess is where I'm going with that. Okay, now, as always, I have to add some dimension. So I'm grabbing my foam sheets. Where are my snips? I must have moved my snips out of here. Come on. Do that one. And that one. I have all these scraps around. Tamika, how have you been doing? Are you going to do roll of the die with us this month? I miss you. All right. So this was gray granite. And then I'm just going to mat that on some smoky slate. I do that sometimes, just do like tone on tone. And there we have our first card. Now, if you choose to get this sweet collection, I think it's one of the most. It's a lot for the bang for your buck, but it is because it's a two bundle suite. it is reflected in the cost. Now, it is worth having. And I think that's it. I don't think there was any other embellishments on it. Let's take a look and see. There was no other embellishments. Oh, I didn't color that part. Okay, let's get that done. Just gonna go with the gray granite again. Let that dry, and then I'm going to go over it one more time, okay? All right, you guys, so this first project is complete. And if you're having, when you're coloring, if you don't have like a darker shade for something, just let it dry for a second, okay? And then if you go right back over it, because remember it dries clearer, it dries lighter. Once it's dry, it's a little bit lighter in tone. So if you wanted this to be a little bit darker, just let it sit for a minute, go back in with it again, sit for a minute, let it go back in again. Depending on how dark you want it, you can use the one ink pad to, or the one marker to get the image that you're looking for. So now let's go ahead and get our inside done. And we're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5¼ for our inside card. Always need to do a sentiment, or at least a panel for the inside of our card. I know a lot of demonstrators will tell you no naked insides and no naked envelopes, right? So we try to make sure that when we send cards, we kind of send complete cards, beautiful on the inside and on the out. All right. So there we have our inside panel, and I'm going to take this guy. And y'all pray for me, because I'm going to try my best to do an even border on the bottom of this card panel, okay? Now when I'm starting to do something in the middle, I will always almost start, or I'm sorry, on like something that I want to have the center of, I will start in the center and then work my way out. And try to have a consistent line. There you go. Look at that. I didn't do so bad. Alright. So that's what we're doing on the inside of the card. Let me see if I've got a sentiment somewhere around here. Since it's birthday, I just leave the room for anybody to write if they want to write their sentiments on there. Okay. So I have done my first casing of the annual catalog, y'all. And I like this one. It was very simple. Now you can interchange this. Now the thing about this project is, one, you can take away from it the design, the layout, the template, okay? So I'm going to make sure I give you guys the measurements. You may not have this particular stamp set, but you can use the design and the layout to create a similar project, okay? So I'm going to tell you the measurements one more time. Of course, we have a standard A2 card base, and that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That is standard A2 here in the U.S. And then let me tell you the measurements for everything else because I forgot already. The matte layer was 4 by 5 1/4. And then this piece I think we had was 3 1/2 by 4 1/2. Okay? That's exactly what it was. So there are your measurements for card number 1. Let me write them down on a piece of paper so that when I'm ready to post the blog, I will know exactly what I'm talking about here. Alright. A2, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Gray granite. 4 by 5 1/4. Oops. And the basic white was 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then the inside was 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. Those are the measurements for our cards. All right. So we're going to try to do one more card with you tonight. And this one I'm cheating a little bit. I have a swap. I have a swap card, a swap that I'm participating in, one that I am hosting. And it's a sketch. And so what I'm trying to do is come up with my sample to see if I like what I'm doing. And then I'm going to move forward from there. So of course for me, always trying to make sure I kill 2 birds with 1 stone is it is what it is, right? It just is what it is. So I used the sample, or I'm going to just show you what the sketch is. So this is the sketch. I love sketches that have measurements on them because it makes my life so easy. Okay? So I used the deckled circles die. This is what's going to use for my circle element, and I decided I was going to mat it. I believe the deckled circle dies were part of the online exclusives, so you won't find them in the catalog, but they will be available online in the section that says online exclusives. Now, there are, 14 dies in here, all circles, many different sizes, and I'm not even sure which ones I use because they're all out of whack now. Okay? But this is the deckled circle dies, and I think I used, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I used 6 and 7 from the largest, right? 6 and 7 of the largest, from the smallest to largest, 6 and 7 of the deckled circle dies. That's the ones that I used for this project, okay? And again, I cut one in basic white because this is going to be my focal image. And then the other I cut in pebbled path. Oh my gosh! Inike? Please, if I said it right, just give me a heart or a thumbs up. Inike? I'm not going to try your last name, but thank you and welcome from the Netherlands. Oh my goodness, thank you for joining me. Alright, so what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to have a lot of fun. So the first thing I'm wanting this to do is I'm going to say hello friend. That's going to be my sentiment. And I'm going to stamp this little bird. The bird's going to be my image, right? So I'm kind of going to think about what I'm trying to do here. So if the little bird is going to go there, I'm going to do hello friend about right here, or maybe up here, I'm not sure. I hadn't thought this completely through yet. Oh, here we go. And then I'm going to have this little flower right at the bottom here. Now I'm going to probably add a little accent, some accent things, but that's kind of how I'm thinking about what I'm doing thus far with the image, okay? I'm color challenge in my VIP group. I hope you guys are on my group, on my pages. In the kitchen, in the craft room with Caron is on one of my Facebook VIP group. If you're not a member of that group, go ahead and join my group. I would love to have you over there. If you are ever creating projects from what I make on YouTube, I would love for you to share them with me, what you've made on that site as well. And then I'm going to put the bird, get a bigger one. Keep my blocks right in front of me, right? I should have thought about that. I should have thought about it and done my mirror image birds. Thank you, Linda. Oh, Linda, welcome. I didn't see that you popped on. My international girls are here. I might do two, just because. This would have been perfect, and I might redo it. So if I don't put it on the card tonight, you'll know that's why. But anyway, this is also another reason why I'm practicing for my swap card, because this would be perfect for mirror image stamping. Okay, so we've got that. I'm gonna put some embossing powder on that in just a little bit. And then we're going to hello friend our sentiment right up here. So I audition things. I don't know about you guys when you're crafting or creating, but I audition where I like things. Had to wait for, I know that feeling. I came on today and Sandra was telling me that my sound was not, and I'm like, well, I didn't touch anything from the last time, so unless I was having some issues from last time, I don't know. I gotta go take a class at the local college here on editing videos and all this other good stuff. Oops. One of these days I'm gonna be big enough in the Stampin' world that I'm able to have somebody that's actually monitoring videos, running the videos, so I'll have all kinds of fancy zooming in and zooming out and all this other stuff that you guys might enjoy. But for now, you're stuck with just me. I tend not to edit my videos. I tend not to edit them at all. But I'm going to tell you what I think about what I've done so far. It's not bad. It's a good project, but it just seems very disjointed to me. So I've got to figure out a way to make it seem as if it's not just. I am. I'm practicing and I'm practicing. Excuse me. Oh yeah. What am I going to do now? So yeah. So it just seems like things are a little disjointed. There's nothing that's grounding them together. Is that the word I'm supposed to be looking for here? So they just look like individual and separate elements, not a cohesive, that's the word I was looking for, cohesive elements. So I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon. Primarily because it's out, y'all. Okay. And so we're going to have a Lost Lagoon bird. So Linda, it seems as if it takes about a week for bubble bath, I think. We're going to have a little bubble bath. It seems like it takes about a week for projects to go from, or cards, mail, I should say, to go from the U.S. to you. That's what it looks like. Because if you got the one I sent you, I sent that last week, I think. Unfortunately, I don't write that stuff down in my... I wanted to keep my colors tonight, Lost Lagoon, Bubble Bath, and what's that color called? Pebbled Path. So that's why I'm trying to stick with these colors. They are the color challenge that in my group. So I posted some colors on there in terms of, hey, let's see what you can do with these colors, the projects you can create. I am going to bring in another color though, because it needs something. I love my parakeet party. I do. I love my parakeet party. I think it's such a bright and lovely green. Look at that. Isn't that bright? Isn't that lovely? Such a bright and lovely green parakeet party. Oh. Well, I'm thinking about doing more craft along projects. And I do my kit together classes once a month, but I'm thinking maybe I might do more. I'm not sure yet. It really does all depend on time. The problem with when you have a concept in mind and you're trying very hard to stick to that concept, it sometimes doesn't work, and you just gotta know sometimes when you gotta quit. Time is a nightmare. I know it is. I know. I do appreciate you guys, from that side of the world, hopping in and being able to visit with me. I really do appreciate that. Because I know you have other things to do with your time. You're either getting ready to go to bed or just getting up, and you've got stuff to do in your day, and that you are taking that time to hang out with me. It's really appreciated. No, not Lost Lagoon. I grab my Balmy Blue again. Just gonna soften that white just a tad. But I'm also gonna do the same thing on the bottom. I'm gonna soften. I'm gonna ground. I think that's the term I'm looking for. So I'm gonna grab my wild wheat here. And I'm gonna So I just went in very gently with wild wheat to kind of ground the base a little bit. So we have the earth and we've got the sky, okay? At least that's my thought process anyway, and I'm sticking with that. So I can see that for me, that may not be the design that I want to work with for when I'm actually going to send my swap card. It's not that I don't like it. Alright, so now we're just going to center this. So this is what we created here with that one. I love it so far. Did you missed the first card that we did? This is the first one that we did. And then I'm just going to pop this guy up on here. I do like this bundle. I like the entire suite. I think it's very versatile in that it can be used in many ways. I think it's a good quote-unquote masculine set without it being a masculine set. Alright, so that's that. So then we've got a 4x5¼ panel. What are we going to do with this 4x5¼ panel here? It's not 4x5¼ yet. Alright, so I think I'm going to need to do a little bit of a break just to make sure that I get some of this stuff out of the way. Okay. So, I decided that I wanted to use some of the Meandering Meadow Designer Series paper in this project, okay? One, we're using birdhouses and birds, so I thought having something with an outdoor feel was going to work very well for this project. Now we only need 1.5 inches by 4 3/4 on here. So now we just kind of have to figure out which one we're going to play with. Yes, okay. I mean, I like that one. That one has some possibilities. one might work best though. Oh yeah, I think this one will work very well for that. I think that one will work very well. And again, this is from the Meandering Meadows. This is another online exclusive item. This paper doesn't seem to stay in stock very long. It is very popular. So if you are creating and building a shopping list, think about adding this one to your cart, okay? So I'm going to cut this. This is going to be my 1.5 inches by 4 3/4. Ooh. I do 4 3/4 here, I'm going to cut that off. So this is 6. So if I go to 5.5 here, okay, that's what I'm going to cut off. And then if I do from 5.5 to 4 3/4, okay, that might work. Alright, so we're going to just cut off 1/2 inch from this side, and then we're going to make this a 4 3/4 from that side. Okay? So what's going to end up happening is this is going to be like this if I choose to keep it on the we do this, okay, change, we're not doing white anymore. See how quickly that changed? Alright, so this needs to be 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. We're going to lay it out like so. We're going to have a piece of, I have a piece of Lost Lagoon over here. I'm actually this is just coming to mind as I'm sitting here. So bear with me, y'all. This is actually how Caron crafts. So, I'm going to score at 4 1/4. Oh, I have a new card coming out for you guys. 4 by 5 and 4 by, wait, I did 4 1/4, right? Yeah. By 5.5. Sometimes I need not to be talking while I'm cutting. Okay. And then, what I need is a piece that was 1 inch by 1.5. Show you how we do have a stamp that will banner, a die and a punch that will banner your, that will do a banner for you. I'm going to show you how sometimes you really don't need that. So how I do a banner when I don't want to go through all that fuss is you have a choice. Is you can pick a point that's in the middle, just cut a straight line, and then angle. Okay, that's one way. My upline made with the birdhouse. Oh, I would love to do it. I'll come back and I'll grab that site for you. Now the other way to do it is you kind of just fold it in half, like so. And I just cut, pick an angle, cut, and I've bannered. And it's very centered. Okay? So now in accordance with the layout, what we've got is we've got this guy that's going to be here. This that's going to be about here. It's going to be centered. And then we have our image that's going to be here. And then I'm missing a strip that goes across there. Alright. We're not missing anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go tone on tone. Grab my gray granite. Nothing goes to waste, y'all. And then we're just going to create a print on here. Just like we did on the inside of the other card. Perfect. So this is what we have, y'all. And this is going to go like this. And then this is going to cover it like so. I think we've done a great job. Look at this. What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong again, Linda? Alright, so there's no such thing as anything wrong in crafting, you guys. Just so you know this. There's just nothing, no such thing. Alright. So let's get these adhesive done, and then I'm going to do something, because I like to add texture to things, okay? Now, when I tell you I utilize my grid paper, I do. I'm going to bring this about 1/4 inch in. So I'm using the squares on the grid sheet, and I'm going to use the grid line. So I'm doing 1/4 inch in and 1/4 inch down. So that's kind of how I use this. You guys, I can't do anything straight. So I love it. I think you think it was your layout. All right, you're funny. And then this is going to go here. Try to center that on here, like so. And then again, using the grid lines, this is how I'm lining this up. Okay? Adjust this a little bit. this guy here. Now, before I do that, the only thing, nothing goes wrong in crafting. You are so right. There's nothing that goes wrong. You just kind of make things your own. So because this is fine just the way it is, but I always like to do, I was telling my friend there's a wow, now, and holy cow. A now, a wow, and holy cow are how projects are, right? So this right now is a now card, right? So I'm going to make it a little bit more holy cow. So I'm going to go grab an embossing folder, and I'm just going to add texture to this entire panel. Give me one moment. Also in the new catalog, I use the swirly embossing folder. And I added a little bit of texture to the entire panel. Look at that. Oops. Look at that. Right? Isn't that awesome? Look at that. Isn't that awesome? All right. Thank you. No, it's not. Linda, you didn't do anything wrong. I tend to, most things I adjust because I don't ever put anything directly on the card base. Like putting all of this just on a card base was just never going to work for me, okay? I generally will always have a matte layer between my my focal elements. I generally will always do that. And if something tells me that it's 4 by 5 1/4, I will add a coordinating color that is like maybe 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 because I always have to do for me, that's just my aesthetic. I almost always will have to have a matte layer in a project that I'm doing. So that's just my aesthetic. That's just how I tend to do it. So I generally will adjust a design just to make sure that I'm able to have that matte layer. Okay? So it's not wrong what you're doing or what you did. It's just different. And yes, I am putting another layer again. So most people will tell you if they've crafted with me long enough, they will tell you a couple of things. My sentiments will always be embossed. Will generally always be embossed, right? And I double or triple emboss my sentiments. So that's a tell for me, a design aesthetic for me. I am a firm believer in the use of dimensionals, strips, dots, squares, sheets, all of it. Okay. I do need to do one more thing though. Because these birds, I gotta ground my birds. They needed to be grounded. Stella. And I'm choosing to go with a Lost Lagoon card base. So I would have done a panel in here, but I'm going to just go ahead with my swirly again. And then just add a little bit of dimension on, so you're not just seeing the card base. Doesn't have to be straight, and I'm just randoming here. Now again, most of this is going to be covered up, so I'm just trying to make sure that I have a little bit of a my dog has been sitting in here looking at me, y'all. One of the reasons why I go live at 8 o'clock is because I have to make time for my dog, okay? And so I tried 7:45 tonight because I've had some folks tell me, hey, it's a little late for them to catch me. But when I come straight in from work, especially if I have not prepped the night before, I just don't spend any time with my dog because I come straight into the craft room. And let me tell you, she does not like that. She comes right up in here and she be looking at me like, you've been gone all day. Now you're not even spending any time with me. Yes, these are the conversations my dog has with me. She does have them with me. Like, no ma'am. No ma'am. This is just not going to work, ma'am. Again, because this is embossed, I have to make sure that I have enough adhesive so that the entire panel will grip. And we don't have, when I send this to whomever, it doesn't fall apart. So when you have an embossed panel, you use adhesive generously. Okay. The cat too. They're like, no ma'am, you've been gone all day. You gotta pay me some attention. Alright, you guys, so here we go. There's our finished card. Look at the detail in what we did. And that's another tip for you guys. When you are crafting, right, don't be afraid to break out the those embossing folders, even if you've already adhered pieces. It'll take your project from now to wow, and depending on the embossing folder that you use, man, you can have a holy cow card, okay? So here we have, this is my card, and I did follow closely the swap, or it is going to be part of a swap, but this was just my test run to see if I liked the idea that was in my head, okay? So there you go, guys. Thank you guys for spending, about an hour and a half with me tonight as we created with the Country Birdhouse bundle. Okay? This is a project you can find directly in the catalog. I did case the catalog. And this one we kind of went off the cuff and we cased a sketch. You guys, I hope you enjoyed working with us tonight. Is that the wood panel? No, that is the new So Swirly embossing folder from the new annual catalog. Alright. Any other questions I can answer, you guys, before I kind of sign off for the evening? Alright, well, and in that case, you guys, just don't forget, thank you for joining me. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you're a returning member, a returning viewer. Glad to have you back. Love that you are enjoying the craft room. On that note, you guys, thanks for joining me again, and you guys have a great evening and happy stamping. If there's anything that you see in my projects tonight that you would love or you liked, please don't forget to, because this is what's happening here, to place an order in my online store using this month's host code. I know folks from across the pond, you cannot shop at my online store, but you guys, comment that you've shared this video, and you will be entered into the drawing to win this card. I'm going to make a note that this is the card that's the giveaway tonight. All right, guys, happy evening, and have a good evening, and happy stamping!